Hi everyone, my name's THÓI. What is your signature dish? Mine is very simple, kind of like egg omelette or any other simple dishes. Some other people may have more advanced dishes and I would really want to know in the comment section down below. Today you may see that my voice is not so energetic because it's kind of late and everybody's sleeping, but I hope you will still enjoy it. Today I will tell you the story of a 10-year-old boy named Timmy. Timmy's parents divorced, but he was a chef prodigy. He was only 10 years old, but he usually got to his Uncle Mario's Italian restaurant called Uncle Mario's Kitchen and took a lot of training there to become a professional chef someday. He loved to cook. He would love to covet the fame of like his uncle someday in the future. He loved to walk across a corner of the restaurant where one side it was pictures of Uncle Mario and a president and famous politicians, actresses, actors, and all. The other side of the hall was famous and great reviews from the toughest critics of the town. Timmy would love to be a professional chef someday in the future, just like his uncle. And one day, a great thing happened to him. His uncle called him into the walk-in of the kitchen, and he was taking some of the freshest ingredients from the cupboards, where he just brought them on from the farmer's market 6 blocks away from the restaurant. Uncle Mario was the executive chef of the restaurant, and he had a special recipe. And just then, he would share it to Timmy, his special nephew. His nephew, which was, of course, Timmy, was stunned, really stunned, to know the secret recipe that his uncle would tell him. He was stunned because it was supposed to be a mystery. It was supposed to be a secret, but his uncle would want to entrust the recipe into him. And he trusted Timmy with his secret. He said, "Let's keep this a secret and pass this from a chef to another." And Timmy was so grateful to his Uncle Mario. At that time, he would have to make meatballs for his hero, for a famous baseball player. At that time before, his Uncle Mario had to finish every steps of the preparation process by 4 p.m. to be on time for the meeting with investors in Chicago, which I think would be pretty far away from the restaurant, because later in the story, I've read that he had to fly to Chicago and maybe back to home. All right, that's just a side information, but just by the time that Uncle Mario stepped outside the door and went on, hit the road to Chicago, a dog barking from far away chased a dashing cat into the kitchen counter of the Italian restaurant. At that time, the dog stopped just right under the dishwasher and stopped chasing the cat because of the mouth-watering smell of the meatballs just above the counter. The dog stood in his hind legs, rose up to devour all the meatballs like a famished shark. That horse-like canine really irritated Timmy, the chef prodigy. But he was a prodigy and he knew what to do, especially when he was given the special recipe just before that. And he decided he would have to apply it right away because his hero, Johnny McClane, would be in the restaurant just a few hours later. He went back home with the secret recipe in his blue jeans and started to cook in his dad's house's kitchen. He cooked and then sometimes would murder it to himself. So that's why the meatballs is this good. It's that tasty because of this, huh? He exclaimed to himself. And then he went back to the restaurant, to Mario's kitchen, and plopped the mystery recipe into a simmering pot and waited for like 20 minutes. At that time, the staff, the sous chef, or kind of like the subordinate chef, the junior chefs, was stunned when looking at Jimmy, the chef prodigy, the nephew of the famous executive chef of the restaurant. And everyone's heart seemed to miss a beat when they saw Johnny McClane and his wife, Debbie McClane, went into the restaurant and tried the meatballs, the magnificent meatballs and spaghetti. As they oohed and ahed, Timmy said to himself, yes, he finally got his dream come true. He cooked for his hero, Johnny McClane. That is so cool, right? Like you got to do something for your hero. You got to cook for your hero. You got to do something kind and good for his hero. Oh my gosh, that was such a good feeling. And Timmy actually forgot to ask for an autograph from Johnny McClane, but the news on the Sunday's morning papers at the weekend relieved him because it says that the baseball player was very satisfied with the dish. He said it tastes as great as striking a hitter feels. And at that time, Timmy was brought back down to earth by his uncle's call. His uncle finally announced that when going to Chicago and meeting up with the investors of the restaurant, which then had 65 seats, was increased up to 115 seats because of the morning paper and also because the child prodigy named Timmy. At that time, Timmy was so relieved and Timmy felt so good. He now still had the dream of becoming a much more top-notch chef in the future. I hope Timmy's dream would come true. I think it is very realistic to say so. And thank you so much for listening to the story. Hope you have learned something from this fiction story. You can always have a lesson from every story that you see in everyday life because they all have a deeper meaning than it looks down if you read between the lines. Thank you so much for your listening and nighty night.